We have uncovered some new details regarding yesterday's beheading outside a motel in East Dallas. The suspect involved has been arrested. Here's a photograph, been charged now with capital murder. But according to Dallas County jail records, he also has an immigration hold for allegedly being in the United States without authorization. We've also been able to obtain the arrest affidavit. Braceda Holguin has been going over the documents today, which lay out what led up to nothing short of a horrific murder.
According to the arrest affidavit, a witness told police there was a verbal altercation between the victim and the suspect. The document also states that the victim's son and wife saw part of the attack. Now, I do want to warn you, the details are disturbing, starting with that 911 call.
Suspect has a machete.
Wednesday morning, something nobody would have expected took place at the Downtown Suites Motel in East Dallas. A man tells us he witnessed a beheading.
Ma'am, this is not normal to happen.
According to the arrest affidavit, police obtained video which shows 37-year-old Jordanis Copos Martinez grab a machete and start stabbing 50-year-old Chandra Nahamalaya multiple times. The victim is seen fleeing down the parking lot towards the front office where his wife and son were.
He chased him from 108 all the way to the office. The man was trying to get in the office to his family.
A witness who saw the entire thing says the wife and son attempted to stop the suspect, but he pushed them away and continued to violate the victim's remains.
I find it sick, disgusting. I'm speechless.
Kind of out of the norm and is mind-blowing.
The affidavit states Dallas Fire arrived first. They saw the suspect covered in blood with a machete in hand, and they were able to catch him down the road. Several sources tell me the victim was a manager at the motel and say the suspect did maintenance there.
I feel bad for his family because he got a wife and a son. They came out. They didn't know what to do. She was screaming and hollering, but I told her to get back in there because I didn't know if he was going to attack her too.
The suspect has been charged with capital murder, and according to Dallas County jail records, he has an immigration hold for allegedly being in the U.S. without authorization. Records also show he's been arrested for auto theft in Florida and has indecency with a child and assault charges in Houston. In Dallas, Braceda Holguin, CBS News, Texas.
This is a major failure by the system. A man who was in this country illegally, already had a prior record, what did they say, had a warrant for his arrest from the state of California, and was just walking free amongst hardworking people who just trying to get home to their family. And as a result, one man is no longer here to be able to take care of his family. But before I share my thoughts, let's get into the assistant police chief, I believe, and immediately following this horrific, disturbing crime, he had to speak to the press, and just let's listen to it because even he was shooken up by the gruesome nature of this crime. But let's check this out.
Good afternoon, I'm Dia Wall. We're monitoring breaking news right now, a beheading at an East Dallas motel. We brought it to you as breaking news on midday, and just moments ago we heard from the Dallas Police Department with an update on this situation and the investigation. We're going to bring it to you in full.
This morning at about 9:30 a.m., Dallas police responded to a stabbing call on the 3400 block of Samuel Boulevard. The preliminary investigation determines that the suspect cut the victim with an edged weapon several times. Dallas Fire Rescue responded to the scene where the victim died. The suspect is in custody and charges are pending. This is an ongoing investigation, and updates will be provided at a later time. Our officers were proactively patrolling the area and responded quickly to take the violent criminal into custody. Even though he was armed with a bladed weapon, the officers showed tremendous restraint and used minimal force to apprehend him. This violent crime will not go unpunished, and our department will thoroughly investigate and bring charges against the suspect. Violent crime is not welcome in our city.
Can you tell us to the two?
I'm not in response to any questions, ma'am.
Can't identify.
First Assistant Chief Terrence Rhodes there. I want to bring in Senior Crime and Justice Reporter Rebecca Lopez. And Rebecca, you really got the tip that helped alert us to what was going on here. But the thing that I noticed in that brief press conference, he had to pause and gather himself.
Yeah, apparently this is just a very horrific scene that these officers have witnessed out there. Initially, my source told me that there was a beheading at this motel. And now we're hearing from eyewitnesses. We'll bring those to you later. But what I can confirm right now is that a man walked up to this other person. They were having an argument and then used a machete to sever the person's head off and then disposed of the person's head. This is just such a disturbing story. And so I can only imagine. Officers did arrive very quickly. I've just looked at some police records, and I can read in those records that they had several 911 calls of people that witnessed this. They saw this happening. They're telling DPD this person has just been beheaded. DPD gets there very quickly. They do see the suspect, and my sources are telling me that they were able to tase that suspect and take that person into custody.
Right now on your screen, you're seeing some of the images that we've captured from our chopper above of the scene there at that motel. And Rebecca, when you're looking at some of this, First Assistant Chief Rhodes said a bladed weapon. Your sources tell you it was a machete. And there were several calls that came in. What were some of the things that folks were saying beyond? I mean, because I can imagine that had to be a traumatic scene.
They're saying you need to get here quickly. There is a person with a machete that has basically beheaded this person. Apparently there was some sort of argument between these two people, and then this happened. I cannot recall, Dia, the last time that I even heard of anything like this happening in Dallas. I covered a case in Louisville several years ago where a woman was beheaded using a chainsaw by her husband, who, by the way, is still on the run. That was a very disturbing case, but I've not heard of anything like this in Dallas County or in the city of Dallas in recent memory.
What else are you hearing from your sources? I know it's still early, DPD not even confirming that it was a machete or that this was a beheading that took place here, but what else have you been able to learn from your sources?
So we do have the suspect's name. We're not releasing that suspect's name right now. We have been able to confirm that this suspect was on probation for some other crime. Again, we're not releasing that. We're digging into his history. We now have a little bit more. We've also just heard that there have been some Broadcastify type tapes where you can hear the 911 calls. You can hear what's happening with, DPD trying to get out there to the scene, so quickly. As you can imagine, Dia, my sources say that when officers got out there, they witness all. I mean, they see everything. They see the gore that has transpired out there, and it is just, it's horrific for these officers as well. They do have a mental health unit for DPD for officers that witness this, but I can also imagine the witnesses that saw this. They're literally calling DPD on 911 saying, "We are watching this person get decapitated." That's horrific.
And beyond that, you have to think about the crime scene technicians who are coming out to process that scene and clean up whatever is there. What are the next steps? You've covered crime and justice here for decades. What are kind of the next steps in an investigation like this?
So right now they'll take the suspect into, they obviously took him into custody. They'll probably take him down to DPD headquarters if he's not already there. He'll be questioned and then he'll be processed. He'll have his bond set. There'll be an arrest affidavit eventually that will detail more of what happened. And then as far as there's obviously they've got to notify the victim's family. Then officers that were at the scene will be offered any kind of help that they need to deal with this horrific incident. So those are pretty much the next steps. So now it'll be very interesting to find out what the suspect tells them, if he was high on something. I mean, it feels to me that anyone that would do this, there's either some component of mental health or they are on some sort of drug. And PCP tends to be a drug that, and I'm just speculating here, but PCP tends to be a drug where people do really horrific things when they're on PCP. Don't know that for sure yet, but definitely they will drug test this person for any kind of psychotic type drugs that cause this sort of violent behavior.
Just one more for you, Rebecca. I know you're kind of digging into the background, going through police records that you've received already, but what are next steps? What are we doing here as a team at Channel 8 to kind of get to the bottom of, this horrific scene, how this happened? Someone could be decapitated at a motel.
We have at least 2 crews already on scene, and we have interviewed some of the eyewitnesses that are giving us more information about what they saw. I'm assuming it's probably a couple of the same people that called 911, so we'll hear from those eyewitnesses. witnesses. We'll hear from our reporters at the scene, what they're hearing from police. But again, I'm unclear as to why DPD hasn't actually come out and said that the person was decapitated. It's very clear that the person was. Don't know why they're not telling the public that. Definitely a question that I have for the Dallas Police Department.
And of course, to see someone with as much experience as Assistant Chief Rhodes, really a little bit emotional here.
Yeah.
That's pretty uncommon.
It is. I know Chief Rhodes very well. He is one of the more calm and very, he's always very put together. He's very calm. His demeanor is that way. So I can just imagine, I know he is a person of great faith as well. So I can imagine, and when you get out to the scene and you see something, and you've got these officers also, and these witnesses, and everyone out there is just extremely traumatized on how you're having to deal with that as well.
Our senior crime and justice reporter, Rebecca Lopez, thank you as always for your insight.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to follow this developing story. A person.
All right, there you guys have it. The officer clearly shaken up due to the gruesome nature of the crime that has taken place. But now, I actually want to go ahead and let's jump into another report. You got two reports that kind of digs a little bit deeper into the motive behind why actually this ended up happening in the first place. And you won't believe it, but let's check this out.
37-year-old Yordanis Cobos Martinez, a Cuban national, sits in the Dallas County Jail charged with capital murder. He's on an immigration hold, now accused of beheading his boss at a Dallas motel Wednesday morning. Cobos Martinez was arrested half a block away wearing a white T-shirt covered in blood. Public records show at the time of the murder, Cobos Martinez had an active warrant for a probation violation out of California. Back in 2017, Cobos Martinez carjacked a woman in South Lake Tahoe while he was naked. A jury convicted him in 2023 and sentenced him to a 1.5 year prison time. Earlier this year, ICE confirms to Fox News Cobos Martinez was released from ICE custody on January 13th, despite his removal order, due to Cuba not wanting to take him back. 9 months later, on Wednesday, investigators say Cobos Martinez became angry at the downtown suites south of I-30 because his boss wasn't able to speak to him in Spanish. New details from an arrest affidavit reveal a witness told police the suspect was set off and pulled out a machete, stabbing and cutting 50-year-old Chandra Nagamalaya several times, eventually beheading him. Thursday, Fox 4 was sent a fundraiser for Nagamalaya's family, calling the killing sudden and deeply traumatic. It reads his life was taken in a brutal attack that occurred in front of his wife and son, who bravely tried to protect him. Dallas police also tell us, Clarice, that the suspect was taken to the hospital for a blood draw to see if there was anything in his system. We're still waiting for those results. Those usually take a few days.
All right,
Clarice?
we know you'll report back to us, Peyton. Thank you.
Also now have the mugshot for Yordanis Cobos Martinez. He's the man accused of beheading a manager at the motel where they worked. Now, that grisly scene unfolding this morning at downtown suites in the 3400 block of Samuel Boulevard. And as our Meredith Yeoman shows, it may have all started over a broken washing machine.
Dallas police say they were called to downtown suites around 9:30 this morning after witnesses like this motel resident who asked not to be identified called 911.
I see this on TV, but I never seen somebody get their head chopped off.
According to a newly released arrest affidavit, the suspect got upset when the victim used a translator to tell the suspect not to use a broken washing machine in the laundry room. It says the suspect then produced a machete and started cutting and stabbing the victim.
Wow, absolutely wild. Why you have a machete on the job is beyond me. Why are you getting frustrated about your boss having a translator to translate from English to Spanish? Probably another employee who's bilingual for your convenience, so that way he can speak to you, and somehow you get bothered by that is absolutely crazy. We also understand that this man, he's not even supposed to be in this country. You would think that a logical person, which clearly we're not dealing with right here, would think about every possibility of remaining as beneath the radar as possible. But then again, when you've been able to escape the system time and time again, when literally ICE had you in their grasp and was ready to ship you off, but because his own country didn't want to take him back, they just released him. And that's the scary part. This is just another example of why we do have systems in place when it comes to who we allow in this country. And those who believe that those systems aren't necessary, or somehow those people who are already here should be given a pass, it's ridiculous. But you guys, let me know what you guys think about this story. Leave your questions, comments, thoughts, and your feedback down below. I appreciate when you guys chime in. Don't forget, you enjoy any part of the content, smash the like button for more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.